It's the What's on My Bookshelf show. Yeah, the What's on My Bookshelf show. Alright, we are back with What's on My Bookshelf. Round two. Like 2 people watched my last one. So if you know Jason, the best way to get him to not shut up is to not pay attention to him. So here we go. This is round 2, shelf 2. Start on the left. You want to start on the left or start on the right? We'll start on the left. Okay. We got Latin American Diplomatic History, an introduction. I like the cover, very 70s. Haven't read the book. Kind of got this, appeared in my book collection, came from my good buddy Andrew's book collection. I believe, if I recall, this was his older brother's textbook from college. Anyways, it's here now. I should probably give it back to him. This one I have read. I haven't read it all because it's all these little short exposés, but Tell Me No Lies. This is John Pilger. This guy's made like 80 documentaries over like 40 years exposing all kinds of bullshit, mainly what our tax dollars do that you'd rather not think about. Dirty wars, death squads, government drug sales, rigged elections, all that shit. And I know people don't like to think about it, but I like to think about it because my tax dollars do in fact pay for a lot of that bullshit. So Tell Me No Lies. I gotta squeeze this back in here somehow without fucking it up. It's not gonna be easy. Oh, yeah, here, Fraser. This guy's was pretty big time at one point, I guess. James George Fraser. He wrote this compendium of just the entire global history of ancient civilizations, like mythologies, rituals, dietary practices. It's pretty cool. It's pretty vast. It's comparative. I remember me reading it a long time ago. It's pretty good. Pull a couple of these out. These guys are going to start tilting. Let's get you back in there. And what do we got? Oh, I didn't even know this was in here. This is 2015, The Wood Goat. This is a little manual I got from this great guy that I like to listen to, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to write 2016, The Fire Goat, because he died last year. So I suppose that's my last pamphlet from the Da Yuan Circle. The Wood Goat, that's the next cycle. The goat's there, but the monkey hasn't completed it. So the monkey's still going to be a fire monkey next year. But yeah, whatever. You have no idea what I'm talking about unless you study that shit. And I don't even study that shit. I'm just regurgitating because I'm a good listener. Zen in the Art of Archery, Herrigel. That was a pretty cool book. Just about calm down, shoot the arrow, something like that. We got the bow. Here we go. Oh yeah, this was a fascinating book. This is a fiction, another Latin American author, and in the magical realism. This was a trip, man. What do we got? I'm just gonna read the back here. Tent of Miracles tells the incomparable story of Pedro Archanjo, mestizo, self-taught ethnologist, apostle of miscegenation. I don't know what miscegenation is. Laborer, cult, priest, bon vivant, denizen of an exuberant world of festivals, puppet shows, African rituals, mysterious legends, fascinating customs, and strange and wonderful characters. And I recommend you read it because it's tight. Back in here, back at you with From Honey to Ashes. Oh yeah, this is Levi Strauss. We reviewed one of his books last week, you may remember. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Tristes Tropicus. Now this is way tighter than Tristes Tropicus. Kind of goes way into some Brazilian tribe mythology based around their use of honey and ashes, and actually in all kinds of dream world stuff. It's pretty sweet, actually. Here we got everything's starting to tip. Let me slip this guy back in here. This is The Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries, W.Y. Evans Wentz. This guy pretty much dropped the gauntlet and laid down. I mean, I think he's from Harvard, but it's a comprehensive study of the fairy faith in Celtic countries. Get down on it if you're interested in that stuff. It was pretty damn fascinating. You want to learn about sprites? That's your book. Ooh, these ones we could do double trouble. Lost Cities of North and Central America, Lost Cities and Ancient Mysteries of South America. This is David Hatcher Childress. You can catch him on kind of like pseudoscience shows on the History Channel and shit nowadays, but you know, it's pretty interesting stuff. A lot of it's bullshit though, but it's kind of mixed as travelogue, adventure stories too. Some people call him like the real life Indiana Jones, but he doesn't really fight or anything. But he dresses like him. Cool books. Give him a shot. Now we're up with, boom, Giants and Dodgers. Fuck the Dodgers. Actually, don't. I learned to give a little bit of respect to the Dodgers after reading this book. So it's got that going for it, and it's pretty cool. It goes, starts in New York and goes onward. Economics, natural resources, environment. I think I had this in some class in San Francisco State. I'm not even sure I fucking read that book, honestly. Here's a good one my mom gave me. Quick and Healthy Meals from Trader Joe's. You know how it goes. If you don't, read the book. Jamie Davidson. I've made some curry out of there. It was good. I like curry. I like step curry too. Taoist Secrets of Love. Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. This is Montauk Chia and Michael Wynn, actually. Wow, I forgot he was involved in this one. Montauk Chia is pretty much the shit when it comes to modern inner alchemical Taoist inner energy work shit, because he learned it all in China and then he came to the United States and got degrees in Western medicine, so he was able to point out what the fuck was really going on with the glands and your dick and all that shit. It was really interesting. You should read it if you're a male. He didn't write the female version. They didn't, you know, these Chinese guys, there weren't a lot of female monks involved in the inner alchemy. There were, you know what? I take Wing Chun Kung Fu, and that was a system built for women originally, actually, because of the size. But anyways, I'm getting way to fuck off. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. This is Buddhist Suttas. I think they're written in English, not Pali. Gives us more time to talk about shamanism, colonialism, and the wild man. A study in terror and healing. Tausig. This book is like one of the tightest, craziest, most difficult to comprehend books I've ever read in my fucking life. But this shit left a serious impression on me. It's all about Icaros. These are like songs sung by shamans in South America, and it's interweaved with the story of this pretty gnarly Holocaust that took place during the rubber trade in South America. But this shit will fucking trip you out and change your life, son. 3 halves of Ino Mokuso. This is kind of related to that one, actually, in fiction form. This book's a trip too. Teachings of the Wizard of the Upper Amazon. This is based on this other book, but this one's sick, and this one is well written. Like, it could get, like, it's translated from Spanish, but the prose is amazing. And that's kind of like ayahuasca and Amazonian sorcery, if you still don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is just sitting here and popped up. That's the hospital I was born at. Samuel Merritt Hospital, the Magnet. Atlantic History. Critical Appraisal. This was alright. It wasn't great. It's kind of a new genre. It's like a syncretic deal, new form of history that kind of takes African, South American, Caribbean, American, Central American, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, and English histories of the Atlantic and kind of fuses them all together, and I don't know, it was pretty good. I liked it. This book is one of my favorite books on Taoism. If you're interested in Taoism, Opening the Dragon Gate. This is translated by Cleary, who translated like fucking everything from China, but this is Wang Liping. It doesn't even say his fucking name on here, but it's Wang Liping. It's the story of Wang Liping. And this shit, this is an amazing, fun ride and a great book. I totally recommend reading that. Cosmic Serpent. This is more The Cosmic Serpent, DNA, and the Origins of Knowledge. This fucking guy was a hardcore scientist that went down to study ayahuasca in South America. And he asked the natives, how did you figure out that you needed an MAO inhibitor mixed with this Banisteria plant to create ayahuasca like 1,000 years ago when no one knew about MAO inhibitors? And they said, well, when we smoked it, the plants told us how to mix them. And he embarked on this whole deal, and he figured all this crazy shit out, and it's fascinating. You should do it. You should take some ayahuasca too. Alan Watts, old fucking 70s guy. Taoism, 60s guy, 50s guy, actually goes all around the decades. Way beyond seeking. Just your standard dude in 1969 writing about Taoism. I don't know, it's alright. Alan Watts is cool. Better, you might as well just listen to him speak instead of reading his stuff, but did write a lot of cool books. This is Psychology and Alchemy, Jung, romp Freud any day, but this is one of his, I think he had like 10 or 12 books, I'm not sure. 2 of them were really sick, and I am not saying I read any of them except those 2. I was just suggested that I read those 2. And this book's a fucking trip, man. It's kind of heavy duty, but what's the last one? Here we are. Oh yeah, Natural Selection and Beyond. How many of you know where natural selection came from? Darwin? Half right. It was actually originally called, for like the first 40 years, the Darwin and Russell theory of natural selection. Whoops, whoops. Here's a little edit. We're not really supposed to do editing in this, but I was, you know what? It wasn't called the Darwin-Russell theory of evolution. It was called the Darwin-Wallace theory of evolution. Russell's his middle name, and I didn't know that when I said it, so I am making an edit. Anyways, that's the last book. I am an editor after all. That's the second shelf. We've seen the first shelf. Next week, we will bring you the third shelf. That's the second shelf. There's the third shelf. It's the What's on My Bookshelf show. Yeah, the What's on My Bookshelf show.